Think private investigator. What comes to mind? Probably trench coats, right? Shadowy offices, maybe a high-speed car chase? Yeah, that's the Hollywood version. But what's the real story? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the actual, meticulous, and pretty high-tech world of modern PIs. And you're about to see it's way less about drama and a whole lot more about data.
This quote right here, it just nails it. The glamour we see in the movies is, well, it's a total myth. The reality is this relentless, almost obsessive pursuit of facts. And that one idea, that focus on facts, is what separates the PI from the movies, from the real-life pro who's out there solving actual problems. So, let's really dig in and see what that careful, methodical approach actually looks like day to day.
Okay, so first things first, let's tackle this whole Hollywood effect head-on. Because, there's a massive difference between the PI you see on your TV and the one actually working a case. Let's put them side by side.
So, over on the left, you've got your classic action hero PI, right? They're all about gut feelings, these wild hunches, and, hey, breaking a few rules to get the job done. But look over on the right. That is the real deal. We're talking about patience, about spending hours poring over documents. It's about building a case piece by painstaking piece and doing it all completely within the law. Honestly, it's more like a chess game than a bar fight.
All right, so if a case doesn't start with some mysterious figure walking into a smoky, dimly lit office, how does it begin? You might be surprised. It all kicks off with something super structured and, honestly, incredibly professional. It all starts with a simple conversation. And this process, this is the bedrock of any solid investigation. It's not about jumping in feet first. Nope, it's a system. First, the PI just listens, really listens, to get what the client's problem is. Then, and this part is crucial, they figure out what's actually possible before they even think about a plan. It's only after that that they decide which tools they're going to need. Every single step is completely deliberate.
This is where a real pro really stands out. They're going to be brutally honest with you about what they can and, just as importantly, what they can't do. They'll manage your expectations, make the legal boundaries crystal clear, and tell you straight up, you're paying for their expertise and their effort, not some guaranteed Hollywood ending. And that honesty, that's what builds the trust you absolutely need for an investigation to work.
Okay, so the plan is set. Now it's time for the real work to begin. So what does a day in the life of a PI actually look like? Well, it's this really fascinating mix of being a digital detective and doing some classic old-school field work. A PI's day is a total balancing act. 1 minute they could be deep diving into online databases, scrolling through social media, just trying to piece together a digital puzzle. And the next, they're out in the real world, sitting in their car, patiently conducting surveillance, or just verifying an address on foot. It's a job that really demands you be both super analytical and incredibly practical.
And right here, this is the secret weapon of every single great PI, patience. Seriously, we're talking about hours and hours of just sitting, watching, and waiting. All of it for that one crucial moment, that single piece of evidence that can crack a case wide open. It is not glamorous, but that ability to just stick with it, that's what separates the real pros from the amateurs.
All right, let's talk about the tools of the trade. And you can go ahead and forget the magnifying glass. The modern PI's toolkit is absolutely packed with some serious cutting-edge tech. Let's take a peek inside.
So what's really in there? What's in this modern toolkit? I think you might be surprised. It's this incredible blend of high-tech gear and really sophisticated software that PIs use to, you guessed it, methodically uncover the facts.
It's this really powerful mix of digital smarts and traditional field work. PIs have access to these specialized databases. We're talking info you're just not going to find on Google. They can analyze social media to build a whole timeline of someone's life, and even use mapping software to spot patterns and movement that would be totally invisible otherwise. It's all about using tech to connect the dots. But here's the thing. The most important tool in any PI's kit isn't a camera or a piece of software. It's a rock-solid understanding of the law. Every single move they make has to be 100% legal and ethical. This isn't about sneaking around and spying. It's about collecting evidence that's actually going to hold up. Because if you break the law, you don't just put the case at risk, you risk your entire career.
Okay, so after days, maybe even weeks of digging, a PI is sitting on a mountain of data. So how do they turn all of that raw info into something that's actually clear and useful? Well, it all comes down to the final report.
And this process right here,
This shows you exactly how raw information gets turned into a powerful tool. Every observation, every photo is meticulously logged and secured. Then, it's all organized into a clear story told in chronological order. The final product? A report that is all facts, zero fluff. Just a clear, objective summary of what they found.
So what's the bottom line here? What's the one thing that really separates a professional investigator from that Hollywood caricature? It's not the trench coat, I can tell you that. It's all about character.
And these are the real trademarks of a pro. We're talking about patience under pressure, an incredible eye for detail, clear and constant communication, and a deep, deep respect for privacy and the law. These aren't just, nice-to-have skills. They are absolutely essential for anyone you're going to trust to find the truth.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. In a world that is just overflowing with information, and a lot of misinformation, sometimes the hardest thing to find is just clarity. And when you're looking for that clarity, maybe the person you really need isn't an action hero. Maybe it's a patient, professional fact finder.